I'm Ian Peters. You're watching A Life of Creation.
So I think I did portraits of Ogie.
In
So
California?
in California,
Yeah.
we met at some golf club that it wasn't even like a performance because there wasn't. It was just him and we did some like promo shots or something.
That said, it might have been ahead of a performance that asked us for shots, and me in my resourceful mode was like, let me get some shots. You shot them, and we probably used them for like the Jumbotron at a college game or somewhere he was about to perform. Some of the things I liked about working with him was he was very on the fly. And then sometimes a big thing will come out of nowhere. Like we're doing a Super Bowl or we're doing something. And it's just like, we didn't even discuss this. Next thing I know, I'm on a plane going to meet him somewhere. We're going to Asia to perform for CCTV. And I'll meet you at the airport lounge in Dallas. And it's just like, what? Okay. And then I'm like, slow down, man. What do we need? Because he'll talk his way. He's a charmer. He'll talk his way into these big gigs. And I'm like, well, what do we need? What are we doing, Ogie? And he'll tell me, we're performing at this place with the Jumbotron and for this sponsor. I'm like, okay, well, if you got a sponsor, we need to make sure they're shown and they get their ROI on why they're sponsoring you. And let's think of the ways we could do that on your shirt, a logo on the scoreboard and the Jumbotron. You mentioning in interviews, like I had to like, again, part of creating was like working with this thing, this energy, and like keeping the wheels on, keeping it purposeful,
Right.
keeping it just, because he was such a just this ball of energy that would,
He was hilarious.
You met him?
Yeah, I'm just like, what am I doing here? Who is this guy? This is crazy.
This is crazy.
I'm like, what do you do? And he's like, oh, I do like trick shots or long shots. And I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing. But cool. Like, he was awesome and we had fun,
Yeah.
So how did you actually find me? Like,
how did I find you? Craigslist. I believe it was Craigslist. Back then I was again, I had to be resourceful, man. I went on Craigslist. And I think I just put an ad up for like, I need a photographer for this golf entertainer. And you put your hand up and we talked for a while. And I was able to just kind of deduce like who can get the job done and who can't based on like some of the things you might have said, wrote, how you replied, whatever. It's just like, this guy seems like he's the guy. Booked you.
That's hilarious because that was pretty early on in my career at that point. And so you definitely took a leap of faith.
We're going to get back to that leap of faith. I'm glad you put a pin in that. We're going to get back to that leap of faith stuff.
I mean, isn't that the creation journey in a nutshell? It's just, you just get out there.
Get out there. Get out there.
I mean, because that had to have been early 2000s, right?
For sure, early 2000s, because I met him while working for MLB in my hometown, or working for my hometown was an MLB team. And my career there was 2002, 10, I believe, or 2009, 2000. But either way, I met him early it was early 2000s, 03, 04. He came to be a gig at one of our ball games, or the halftime, actually, the football game. And yeah, he came to perform at the halftime of a themed day. And the theme was our QB of our pro team at the time was setting up the Hall of Fame or Guinness World Record for like most games played or most something, some sort of milestone. So they brought in all these acts and performers to perform at halftime that all had records respectively of their own. So he had like the most golf balls hit in a minute. So he comes out. I'm the videographer, in-stadium videographer, rolling around with an RF camera, RF packed to my back, shooting live to the Jumbotron. He comes out. I'm not sure if you saw the guy that places the golf ball for him by his feet.
Yeah, I remember that guy too.
We call him Speedy. So him and Speedy come out with a golf mat, put it down. Speedy sits down, bucket of golf balls, and he's putting on the pin real quick. Wow, not even on a pin, just like in front of Ogie, and Ogie's hitting it like this. And I got to come out and shoot this. So I haven't seen them rehearse. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what we're about to do. And live Jumbotron, I got to follow him out from the tunnel to the middle of the field for him to set up and do his things. As I'm walking out with him, he's just like, hey, he's waving the crowd. I'm shooting him, getting him in his face, and shooting him live to the Jumbotron. And then I'm watching them set up, and they take the camera off my camera, the feed, take it off my camera for a while to do a wide shot of somebody else's camera. So I'm now positioning myself in my off time, like, what is this guy about to do? What direction is he going to shoot? What am I shooting? And I kind of ultimately end up over his head somehow, or doing some sort of like action where I'm holding like POV of like a bird. and he's swinging away, and he sees himself in the jumbotron, looks back at me, and while he's swinging, it starts talking to me. He's like, "Hey, Bal, do you want to go to Asia with me? I need a videographer." He says that in that moment, so I'm thinking, this guy's bullshitting. This guy's like, I don't know this guy, but I could tell he's just a slick talking bullshitter. And I was just like, okay, whatever. So we exchanged contact, and he's done his act, and we're walking up the field, and I'm following him back to the tunnel camera. And while I'm on the camera with him, he's talking to me again, like, make sure we get each other's number. I want you to come. I need a videographer. We're leaving like next week. Bro, in like a week later, I was with this guy in Beijing. A week later, I'm meeting him at Dallas Fort Worth Airport. I'm in the lounge. He sends me a ticket because at the time we were sponsored by American Airlines. He was sponsored. So he got me a ticket, no problem. I was like able to walk up to the counter and tell them who I am, what I'm doing. Ticket waiting for me. Fly to Dallas. And even at the time, I was leaving home. Like I'm telling my mom, I'm going to go shoot with this client who I just met. My mom's like, who are you going to China with? How do you know this guy? Again, taking a leap. I'm like, I'm taking a creative leap. I'm just going to figure it all out. Pack my camera. I didn't even have a case for my camera. I remember sticking my camera in like an attaché case of some sort and like cobbled some sort of like padding together. I was fresh in my career too. I was just like you said, I took a leap of faith and booked you. Same thing. This guy's talking to me. I'm just like, but that was part of my gig at the Blue Jays and the Argos, our football team. When anybody saw me with a camera, it was like instant credibility being in that stadium with the camera. No one knew. I just picked it up a year ago. So he's like, yeah, come with me. I meet him in the airport lounge. I actually spoke to I talked a publicist friend of mine into coming with us. I'm like, I think we're going to need PR for this. This guy wants to go to China. He's being asked to appear live on CCTV, Chinese closed circuit television, and break a record of his, break his previous record with the Guinness Book of World Record official on site. So we meet this little Italian dude when we get there in China, who's the official for Guinness Book of World Record for this category, sports, golf, whatever. And he's doing the official counting. So he's there, and that was my first time in China. It was with this guy that I just met a week ago with the publicist friend of mine, staying at a nice hotel, flew business class out there. I'm like, this guy's for real. And he'll do that. He'll tell you some stuff that you don't know if he's serious. If it really, like, he can tell me he's going to go meet the president right now, and he might be serious, and he might not. He might be bullshitting, but
right.
somehow he talks you into like riding with him to see if this is real or not. And you get there and realize it is real. He is meeting with the president, and they're going to go for a burger.
Right. Like, we're going to just go hang out with the president. It's cool.
We're going to go hang out with the president. But
man,
you know,
that was wild.
Yeah, it was wild.
I feel so. I shot Ogie, and then was there another golfer that you worked with too? Because I feel like I shot 2 golfers.
There was another golfer I worked with, because working with Ogie exposed me to this world of just creative people in terms of sports, not non-traditional sport-related things. Like he was the world's fastest golfer. And there was another golfer that I met through him that actually, these golfers started coming out the woodwork after seeing me travel with him and kind of like package him and prep him for performances, and send packages to his arenas and stadiums I'd make. Like I treated him like he was like a band. Like, here's our booking. Here's what he comes with. Here's what he does. And other golfers started coming out the woodwork. Like, hey, can you do that for me? Hey, can you represent me? And I quickly had this little stable of like the world's fastest golfer, a world's longest drive got male, a world's longest drive female in Canada. I had a guy called the Hammer who would like literally like have a hammer, a sledgehammer.
I think it was the Hammer.
I think it was him. So so you shot him because, again, I want to start packaging these guys. And in my mind, I had this like whole, think of what the Harlem Globetrotters are to basketball, that of golf. This touring packet of like performers that corporate could book them. They could go on a golf course and fill up the lunch hour with trick shots, what Ogie does, the hammer, obstacles, accurate shooting, all this different stuff. So that's when I started like getting photos and like, in my mind, like that's what I had us doing, touring the world as this like talent pack.
Right.
Harlem Globetrotters of golf.
I mean, being a non-golfer and so I worked with the 2, Ogie and the Hammer, and I'm like, what do you do? And they're like, I do this. And you're just like, okay, that's actually really incredible. Like, it's amazing what they did. And it was cool to just like get that little glimpse of this world that, way over my head. I was going to punk shows and doing nothing really. So it was a treat for sure. But it was wild. Anyway. So I'm here talking to Ian Peters. Welcome to A Life of Creation.
Thank you.
That was a 20-minute introduction of the wild way we met. So, besides creating the Harlem Globetrotters of golf, give us a little history of what you do and how you got to what you're doing now, because it's a little different than where you started.
Yeah, thanks for asking. Thanks for having me on the show. First off, I'm Ian Peters. I'm currently in San Diego, but originally from Toronto, Canada. I live in New York City with my wife and my puppy, Boots. How my creative journey started. I mean, growing up in Toronto, a lot of my friends played hockey. That was the route around me, that guys got junior contracts or went to the NHL or pursued that. I wasn't that good at hockey. I did my best, tried what I could. Not to mention at the time there wasn't too many black hockey players for that matter, but nonetheless, not that it really mattered. But I don't know. I just wanted to be cool, I guess you could say, like them, and like get a scholarship, get drafted. I wanted to go that route. It didn't work out. I ended up kind of resorting back to my video stuff just from being with Blue Jays, and just even how that happened was a friend of mine had bought a camera at a mall near to my house, came over for lunch one day, forgot the camera, left, moved away. His kid unfortunately got hit by a car, so he moved away to deal with that. So I had this camera in my possession, took it out of the box, charged it up. It was a Sony something cam back then. It was like DVD tapes or DV tapes. And I would take it with me to hip hop shows. I would take it downtown Toronto, shoot hip hop shows, shoot friends at hockey practice, whatever. And people would always ask me for the footage after. People would say, "Hey, I heard you were at the Tribe Called Quest show last night or whatever last week. I missed it. Do you have any footage?" And before you know it, I was like wheeling and dealing footage from my locker. Like it was people were coming up to me asking me to buy the Tribe Called Quest show. Can I get my practice that you shot the other day? You were there with the camera.
Right.
And I became known as a camera guy, and I got asked to shoot tons of stuff: bar mitzvahs, backyard parties, pool parties, corporate speeches. And I kind of just kept doing it on the side for fun, but started to like it. I got a lot of attention with it, got a lot of traction with it, and just pursued that. Sooner or later, I ended up going to a community college, learning how to edit. Final Cut Pro 7 was the hot one at the time. Learned that. Learned how to produce, what a producer is. Learned that's what I was kind of been doing all along anyways, just connecting the dots, and just kept going with it. Before I knew it, I had my company, Department of Media, and we were doing, it just grew. Everything happened so fast. I look back at it, I was busy all the time with doing EPKs for musicians. I had a lot of musician friends. I went to a creative high school, so a lot of my friends were in music, producers, singers. I was shooting their stuff, dancers, shooting their stuff, gymnasts. There was a sports program in my high school. Yeah, sooner or later, I just learned how to turn it into a business. I learned that this is a business. There's a value to it, what I'm doing. People want it, and learned billing and grew. And then I'd meet other videographers at other shows, hip hop shows, and ask them, "Hey, you have a nice camera. Like, I need something shot. Can I hire you for a wedding this weekend?" And things just kind of snowballed from there. I would have 4 shoots going on at the same time. This part of Toronto is a wedding. This one's a bar mitzvah. This one's someone's hockey game. The reel we're doing for someone's son I know who wants to go to school in the States. They want a video reel of their son playing hockey. We're shooting that. I was always just collecting these things that later on added to the company. Videographers, editors, colorists, sound recorder. I was also a model and actor somewhere in there for like 11 years, meeting people on set. Being on set, I would meet camera guys and I'd say to them, "Hey, I got this little video thing going on. Can you shoot this for me this weekend? Are you available?" I grew my network from that. That was it. Never stopped doing that.
Wheeling and dealing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I mean, I did the freelance life for a while. I mean, you took what you could. There were some really good months and then some really bad ones, but you just ran with it all the time.
I'll be honest with you. I look back and now realize, or later realized, how, I know you said there was good times and bad times. Like, it was good all the time for a long time. And, not to say I took it for granted, but it was the norm. It was like everybody wanted video. And the more I got spread thin, the more I had to go find other people to help me make it happen. The more I found better photographers and better videographers. The productions got better, editors got better. A few collectives would bring me in as a producer or as part of their collective. So I'd have instant access to studios, green screens, nice cameras, and find myself in places that I could have never even dreamt of being in or having access to, and people too, and resources. And I think the gift I have was able to communicate to these people that, I need to get something done. I want to do it with you. I'm serious about it. The client's serious about it. It's lined up. It's teed up. Let's go. Gaining trust from these people as well, having, them trust me. So a lot of people I was meeting for the first time and asked them like, hey, are you available this Saturday to shoot something for me? And so it was, mastering the art of that, communicating, building trust, building rapport, great with follow-ups, great at, sniffing out talent. Sometimes, case in point with you, is like finding somebody hungry, just needs a break. I'm not saying that was your situation, but like a young shooter, he's eager to do it. I could tell by his responsiveness he wants to do this. Well, he's a golfer as well, so he'll know nuances of what to shoot. Like lining all that kind of stuff up is what I really like. I really like making something out of nothing. I really like, making people feel special. I really like, just working with people, different people at different times. Like, who knows who I'll work with this upcoming weekend if I have a shoot, Same with real estate. I don't know who I'm going to have as a client next month, next week, before I'll even have one. But I love what I do. The rest just happens.
Well, I mean, you like people, it sounds like. I mean, real estate makes very much a lot of sense of a direction you'd go because it's all people relations. I think you do some hockey stuff, and then you also do relocation. And I mean, I look at your website, I'm just like, how many jobs does Ian have? Because he does a lot of different things. You can kind of dive into some of those little side things too.
Hockey, an extension of where I'm from. My friends who I grew up with, the sport I love, the sport that's taken me around the world. I've met people with hockey. It's fueled my business. I've gotten apartments for hockey player friends of mine and their sons or daughters coming to school in the States and in New York. Offshoot from hockey is I was a goalie for a while. I started a goalie rental service in New York City that's now expanded out to here in California called Book a Goalie, where we rent goalies out to games, practices, skates, scrimmages that are in need of a goalie. Sometimes a goalie bails. I was that goalie at one time that would get called to stay, play one game, to sub for somebody, and I'm coming off you guys, and that team's asking me who's coming on, can you stay one more game and one more game? And before you know it, I've played 4 games. I'm exhausted. Right. I'm paying my own Uber ride home. This is New York City. I'm like, no, you guys, I need some compensation here. So I kind of flipped it with some initial pushback, but 8 years in running, it's been successful. It's now scaled out to Connecticut and New Jersey, tri-state area, and now here in Southern California with a few goalies on our roster here. So it's been fun doing that. It was a good side hustle that I had to get sooner or later, get it registered and make it official. It was making some moves for me and took it a bit more serious, branding it, getting the website done, and getting promo jerseys for some of our goalies to wear. It has our logo on it and website in the back, and just treated it like a business. And it's hockey. I get to talk hockey with goalies and guys calling. I've been there. Someone's calling me at 11 o'clock. We need a goalie in an hour. Can you help us? I want to deliver. I love the game. I want to deliver. So there was that. There was Department of Media, which is video, Hockey XP, which is an extension of me just loving to bring people together, loving to play hockey, loving community, loving connection. Again, fueling my real estate business, but just making people feel like they're having a good time. Where I love hockey, and these are the things I wish I could do if I had access to. Play at NHL arena, have professional referees ref my game, have a party, meet these guys, go for drinks. So being able to make that happen for passionate hockey fans, players as recreational players, has been amazing, been pretty fulfilling. We're in our sixth successful year. What else? And the relocation stuff came from, it was an extension of my real estate, which was helping people beyond just finding a place. Oh, you're a photographer, you just moved from Fullerton to New York and you need a place? Cool, I'll get you a place. Oh, you also want to find a studio you could shoot in? Oh, you need lights? Oh, you need a producer? Oh, you need a photo editor? Oh, you need a colorist? Oh, I have all that for you. From my background in production, I can help you. Whether it be setting up a social situation where I'm taking you out for coffee to meet a producer friend of mine who's needs a photographer that shoots what you shoot, or inviting you to a friend's photo exhibit tonight and you meet 3 other people there that help out your business. You just got to New York. I like that support. It's things I wish I just picture it being me. This is what I would love someone to do for me if I just got here. And it goes over well. And I've never had a problem with it. I've only made more friends, more connections, more referrals, seen careers take off from, I remember when that guy was, early stages of his photo career. I remember he was barely even knew how to shoot. Now he's off on tour with this artist as their photographer.
Right.
And that came from somebody they met through me at a art gallery social we went to last week or last year, whatever. It's a stretch what I'm saying right now. Not a stretch, but I'm just like summarizing so many different situations where I've seen like things happen like that. If you work backwards and connect the dots, it came from some sort of support I offered or touch point.
I mean, that is such a important aspect, especially in the creative world, is the connections, community. Just like you hired me probably 20 years ago at this point, and we've still have stayed connected to just even if it's just like, hey, that was a cool photo, or that's a cool apartment that you just sent an email for. I wish I could live there, but it's just like those little things. It's been fun to be like, see each other kind of keep going in the directions and the paths that we are on, and it's like it's fun to be a part of that and just be connected to it, even if it's not like a working relationship all the time. You can still be there and support and encourage or uplift, whatever. And if it ever came to like, hey, I need help, you have this network of people who can help you. And I think that's an awesome part of the creative community.
I agree with you. I think it's cool to learn that you see it that way. And it's cool for me to personally feel like, who am I to think I'm the only person that sees it that way? Like, it's cool to hear others articulate it like that and talk about the support and talk about how cool it is or however, whatever you want to call it. But we know it's a thing. We enjoy it. It's the creative world. It's not corporate. It's not, no one's, obligated to, help anybody. But yet here we are, and we love creating. We obviously recognize each other as creators. Yeah, it's cool to hear you. I never really thought about it like that until you said it and realized I think about it like that way too.
Yeah. I mean, I think that comes with, time, experience, and wisdom. Like early on, every other creative is your enemy and, your competition, and you feel like you have to outperform them and do all this stuff. But I think now, in my line of work, I'm the senior photographer and I have photographers under me. And it's kind of like I need to check my ego because I need them to know how to do things. So I got to be able to relinquish control and start handing off these things so that they can replace me one day. It's a weird mindset, but then once you kind of understand that, you can kind of shift into this, all right, I want to pour into these people so that they know how to do it right. Or at least learn from what I've learned.
Man, you made me just, thanks for sharing that. Is the word noble? What word do I want to use here? How noble of you. That's an amazing thing. You make me think of just before this call, and the reason why I was actually kind of a little late for this call is I called a producer friend of mine who's a really great, excellent media producer back home in Toronto. And I called him in the middle of a proposal I'm working on for real estate, a pretty lengthy proposal, and there's all these elements in it. And I said to him, first of all, I just texted him, I said, thank you. And I went back to what I was doing. And he calls me. He's like, what do you mean? What are you thanking me for? And I said, I want to thank you for just like you said, pouring into me. Because somebody connected us in Toronto back in the day as I was scaling out, a friend of mine who was pretty established in the music business saw what I was doing. He's like, I got somebody you should meet. He'll help you get to where you're going. He just saw me learning on the fly, and he connected me with a friend of his that was a really sharp producer. I wasn't used to having this person of structure above my, I won't say above me, but working with me, tuned into me, right, slapping my wrist, don't do this, don't do that. I'm like, I do how I want. This is my company, my way.
Right.
So him and I butt heads a lot, and it led to really deep, we almost kicked off. And I'm not a violent guy, I'm not a physical guy, but this guy drove me to the edge, I'm telling you. But through it all, and I called him today, I texted him, said thank you, because he taught me a lot. He taught me structure, how to do documents, how to log information, how to log data, how to log tapes, how to parlay with clients and leave the door open for this and for that. And I was using those skill sets tonight when I'm doing my proposal for the real estate stuff I'm doing, the relocation stuff. And it hit me that what I'm doing came from him. So I just reached out to him and said, thank you. And he called me and he's like, you don't know how much it means to me. I know you think I'm an asshole. And then I'm like, yeah, I still think you're an asshole, but thank you. Thank you for pouring into me. And because I'm here using it right now. Those he goes, hard lessons. I know. I'm like, yeah, here they are. I'm using them and they're helping me make money and put food on my table. And thank you. He's like, you don't know how much that means to me. I'm like, cool. It means a lot to me too.
Yeah. Yeah. It reminds me of my internship in college. I did it's called Rhymers and Holler, and they did like product, like high end product imagery on medium form, like large format 4x5 cameras. And I just remember at the time I was shooting concerts. I was like, in my head, I'm like, I'm a concert photographer. I don't want to be in a studio. I don't want to be tied down like that. And it was just so boring to me. Watching them just, hold the like black and white cards, just kind of seeing what it did. And I'm like, what are they doing? Come on, just shoot it. Just take the photo. But now I'm like, I do all of that at work, and I make a living doing basically what they did. I'm just like, thankfully I watched and gained a little bit of knowledge, but I like so regret not taking advantage of that time and like really ask questions and like why are you doing that? I understand now because I had to work my way through learning that, but at the time I could have said, why are you doing this with the card? And they're seeing how it affects the light and shapes the product and all this stuff, but I'm like, I wasted a really good opportunity to learn some cool stuff. But then thankfully I started working for a photographer who poured into me and really helped show me that stuff too. I'm just like, man, take your whatever event or opportunity you have, just take it and get what you can from it.
Good on you for being cognizant of all that, but you wasted, as you said, or didn't, or you missed out on asking. Good for you for recognizing that. So now it just becomes lessons. You didn't lose anything. It's a lesson. And good on whoever it is that you just mentioned that poured into you. Very, very good on you and good on them. You do make me think of, in your mention of like, hey, I should have asked this. I do look back and realize how inquisitive I was when I met in that when I was on set as an actor or model. I remember it hitting me one day like, hey, I'm not going to be, I'm not going to, I might not be desired in front of the lens or in this, have this window to do this forever.
Right.
I might want to be on that side of the camera at some point because that person sitting there in that director's chair looks like they're comfy, cozy, living well, and pulled up in their whatever $1,000 car, and I thought I was getting paid good. I know they're getting paid better. I want to know what's going on over there. And in that desire, in that recognition, was asking questions. They'd say, check the gate, and I want to know what that means. What does that mean? Like, I'm just put it this way. I remember being on sets with other actors or even models, and when they yell cut and everyone's gone back to their trailer or respective dressing room, whatever, I remember still hanging out with crew and sound guys, like I'm one of them, and asking like, what are you checking for when you're looking at that box? Hey, and they're like, all right, we're back from lunch. I'm like, I'm still on set. I never left. I didn't go for lunch. I was hanging out with these guys while they're eating. And I remember building that up. Like that happened a lot. I had no desire to like leave, just walk away and come back on set as a talent. I wanted to know like, where's that wire going? How are you feeding that remotely to that monitor? How it's just like, I remember being just like interested in that stuff. All those questions I asked led to a few things. Later, being able to like communicate to other camera guys and tech people, this is what I want, this is how I want it. One. Two, after spending that time with those same camera guys, photographer, I'm now able to better ask you, hey, are you available this weekend? I actually got a shoot. I actually arranged this wedding shoot and I don't have a photographer. Can you do it? Yeah, no problem, man. You just sat here with me for an hour while I'm having my lunch and talking about my dog or whatever. Like, I'll shoot it for you.
Right.
He now rolls up with the camera that he got from set, or he's borrowing from the production company. I look like a rock star. He's having fun. Client is happy. I like this.
Yeah. I will say, being on the other side as the photographer, the models who actually engage with us about kind of what we're doing, you actually do feel more connected to them, and we enjoy the shoot more because they care, obviously, so it makes us care more because you're like, this guy actually knows kind of what we're doing or is intrigued by it, so it opens up the communication, so things just kind of flow better, where like you get the models who just don't even look like they're happy to be there, and they're probably getting paid more than all of us, and you're just like, when are we done? Just when's lunch? When can I go home? And it's the shoot's drag,
Yeah, you said it. I can remember that vibe. I could see that.
Let's kind of get into community a little bit, since it does sound like you have a pretty big community, since you have your fingers in a lot of different areas. Do you rely on a lot of people to carry out what you do, or is it you kind of like the head and then just kind of pick what you need?
Good question. I don't know if I'm at the head of anything or if I'm relying on anybody, but when you say community, I think of a few things. I think of the goalie community that I'm tight with, that I book and get them jobs, and I'm almost like a goalie agent or a goalie pimp, as a few people have called me before. I think of that as a community in that I was once a goalie and I want to get hurt anymore, so I don't go in net anymore. But having been one, just having the sensibilities of a goalie, like that's gung ho to play, and you can smell it when somebody really wants to play, and I could tell when someone or when they get hurt, what to say, what to do, what to help with. Describing skates to them, you're gonna really love this skate. It's fast paced. The angles are weird at this rink. Da da da. The lighting is this. The puck looks like that. Whatever. I've got a community there, and that I have all these different dialogues with these different goalies, and I know when their daughters' birthdays are. I know when. Here comes my puppy. This is my puppy barging in. Come here, Boots. Come here.
I got mine in her crate.
Oh yeah, this is Boots. Little Boots. Look at yourself. I think of community as that's the first thing that comes to mind when you mention community. But I don't think I have much community. I have access to communities that I will drop in and out of in the context of what I am to them. I'm a goalie booker to this community. I'm a model to that community. I'm a photographer, a videographer, media producer to this community of people. I know what the elements of that community are, or some of them. If it's photographers, editors, shooters, and production. If it's my hockey stuff. If it's corporate sponsors. If it's for Book a Goalie, it's a community of hockey reps, captains, league organizers, like access to different communities. I would like it to be more of a community and more engaging and more sharing, if you will. But just even having access and these people allowing me to come in and out of their circles by way of communication, whatever. I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I feel like with my, concert days, I had that kind of like, I was the photographer, so I was known as the photographer. But outside of the shows, we weren't meeting for coffee very often. Or there was a few that I would hang out with, but it was kind of like, you're only part of the community when you were together at the show. And it's like, all right, cool, see you later. And, peace out.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I found more of my community and through church and, kind of the people I did life with who weren't even necessarily creatives per se, but, they were supportive in what I was doing. And it was almost better that they weren't creatives because then, they, might buy me lunch or something because they know I have no money or whatever, They're like, oh, this photographer showed up. Let's chip in.
But isn't that community?
The water
I think there's some community in that. You being comfortable in that, like knowing that they think that or know that or whether it's true or not. Most likely true as a starving artist that you are or we are. Yeah, and you're comfortable around these people. Like that's community.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I still get together with, people from high school. Through we have like we call it the Dudes Weekend because we're all so busy. But a group of guys all from youth group in high school, we go out and stay somewhere for a weekend. And it's just like, it's amazing that these friendships have still lasted. And we have, all very different lives. And it's just like, we still pour into each other, even now,
Amen.
And it's like, it's almost like men's therapy at this point. But, it's great. And it's needed. So
it's needed. We need it.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. I mean, I think, a lot of creatives, I've gotten into this conversation in the past with interviews and stuff. And it's like, a lot of creatives deal with mental issues more than most. We process things so differently. So it's like, it's almost better if you don't have a creative community because they might be able to, feed into you in a certain way that you actually need. Where an artist might be like, here's another shot of whiskey. Here's some drugs. Take that, and you'll be fine. Like you're like, no, I need someone to pour in some health.
Man, I agree with you. And as you spoke that, you made me realize that, that's true. Like I applied it to myself. I'm like, yeah, I am that. I have a very different set of people I'll sit with or hang with at different times and at different kinds of friends. And people. This one stuck with me because I remember somebody that said to me, "He's like, Ian, your friends range from I think my mom might even said it to me, from the pimp to the pope," and that always kind of stuck with me. In that I do got a wide range of friends and associates and people I hang out with, and like you said, if it was just creative, they might be the one to offer you that extra whiskey or line or whatever it might be. When that's not what you need at the time. You need,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
But thinking about it, thinking about my words, I'm like, sometimes, like, I was a part of the more of the Christian straight edge hardcore scenes. So all of that was like very positive and uplifting and, all that kind of stuff. Where all my high school friends were out drinking and going to parties and all this stuff. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to go to a show because you guys are crazy. And I'm going to probably have a lot more fun than you are. And I learned photography going to those shows. So it's weird because it's like, I feel like in the youth, some of the creatives were like the good people who had like this very positive mindset, and the non creatives were the ones exploiting. And then it usually kind of like flips at some point. I don't know. Who knows?
Non-creatives exploiting.
I mean, because they're, in high school, they weren't creative to come up with anything fun to do. So they just like, well, I'm going to drink because that's what you do at this point. Where like the hardcore scene was like, we're putting on shows, we're starting bands, we're doing all this stuff. And it's like just nothing but creative, outlets going on. So I was very happy that I fell into that scene.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I'm happy you did too, because here we are.
Right.
As I mentioned, the high school I went to was a school of the arts. So early in my life, and as of grade 9, when I lost my father, which was just probably a huge part of who I am today in terms of that moment in my life and what it did to me. Let me give that some context. My dad was a pretty strict, militant kind of guy. I don't think I would have been as colorful, creative, flamboyant in my creativity if my dad was still around. And I always had this like thing about me, like when my dad was around, I wanted to break out, I wanted to be more creative, I wanted to try things. I tied my shoes different, I wore this different, I cut this pant leg off, whatever. My dad would always be like, no, 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 you can't do this, can't do that. So I always had this like thing waiting to kind of like come out of me. And then when my dad passed, it kind of gave me a ticket to like, I felt free in a way to be like creative and explore things and stay out all night and go downtown with my camera, shoot rain hitting that awning of this store at 2 a.m. by myself, whatever it might have been that allowed me to explore this creative world. I go into high school, grade 9, the year my dad passed. And it's just like I'm at a school of the arts where there's like ballet dancers in the hallway stretching. There's a drummer drumming on the cafeteria table. There's a future rock and roll Hall of Famer singer singing right here. There is the rugby team, working out in the front lawn, tackling. It's just like it was a very, I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
I sometimes equate it to like, what's that superhero? Is it Marvel? Like that universe was just like all these like freaks of nature going to like the same school, and like this guy has this superpower. This,
right? Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. My school wasn't like that.
I hear that a lot when I talk about my school. Tell me about your school.
So I just remember, I ended up at like the punk skater pothead tree, and then across the courtyard was like the jocks and the football players, the cool kids, and then we'd just like throw apples at each other all through lunch and whatnot. It was funny because like that's kind of how it started, and it, I feel like we had a predominantly Hispanic like class of Southern California. It's kind of a given. So this tree was kind of a little more hateful, it seemed like. And then so you're getting fed all this stuff, and then I go to church. I'm like, I don't really hate anyone. These guys seem like kind of like jerks. So you're kind of like in this, I don't know what I am. And then you realize you go to church with most of the jocks. So you start hanging out with him. And we go bodyboarding to the beach. And, by halfway through high school, you're just kind of like, this is all dumb. Everyone here is pretty much normal and cool. And, I'm no one special. So I'll say hi to you. I don't care anymore. I don't know. High school was weird. It was also when I kind of got into punk, and like freshman year, I was in marching band. I was a trumpet player, and the band director was just awful. Even my dad, who was a music teacher, was like, "This guy's terrible. Like, I don't blame you for dropping." And I picked up a bass and started a punk band with some friends, and just I dove into that, and that was my thing. And I was really involved in youth group at church, so I didn't connect a lot with my high schoolers, except like the people I grew up with. I hung out with, but I don't know. I always looked forward to the concert or youth group, or it felt like I just had so many other little things going on to where I was like, I don't care about high school. I don't care about football. Just I want to do my classes and see you next week. But I mean, I learned photography in high school, so it was like I have some really good things to pull from it. But
yeah,
like I look back at like I didn't get into the drama of high school because I just didn't care.
But you were aware of the dramas. You knew there was drama there that you just don't care about, or
yeah. I mean, I ended up at a couple parties, and you're just like, this is so dumb. Like people are idiots. It's so boring because I wasn't drinking, and it's just like I should have gone to the concert. So I don't know. It was weird because like my friends started to get into the drinking thing, so I felt because I wasn't, I was becoming more and more like isolated there, and I was connecting more to either church friends or people I was meeting at concerts because I'm like they're more like-minded.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still friends with them, but
Yeah.
it was kind of I started kind of disconnecting halfway through. I'm just like, you guys are going down the path I don't want.
Yeah. High school.
Yeah.
Transformative years.
Right. I mean, it really, despite not wanting to be there, like no high schooler really wants to be there, but I picked up a camera in high school. I got into punk music, hardcore music, started playing bass, started a band. Like all of that came from high school, and I still do all of that stuff. So I still would be in a punk band if I had all the people I needed.
Wow.
Because it's
Becoming
just fun.
Chad.
Right. It's a 2-step process. Pick up a camera, pick up a guitar, you're good.
Yeah. 2-step.
Do you have a creative process that you follow?
Great question.
Because I mean, you could have a process for everything, or does everything that you do have a different process?
I know I have a process. We all have processes. You got a process. Am I able to articulate it? Not yet. I don't know if it's this thing I haven't put thought to explain or tell myself that I definitely have a process. So I know I have a process because when I share some of the things I'm doing with other people, when you hear how they would approach it, and I think, this is the way I'm going to approach it. It reminds me that that's my process, how I approach it. Man, I wish I had an answer for you on that. My process, I mean, help me, help you.
For me, I actually created this little journal, and it's real basic, but just kind of like I have like little checklists of what I need to do, and then I'll write notes over here. I really like fountain pens. I got into that like last year, so for me, I love to write it out. I don't have a lot of money in stocks, but I follow stocks and stuff because I think it's kind of fascinating, and I think I have numbers mind that's trying to get out, but I just keep shoving it back in and say, no, I'm a photographer. But
I like that visual. Yeah. Keep shoving it back. I like that.
Yeah. But I like to write out numbers, and if I want to do this stock, I'll write out how much I have, and then I love seeing the numbers, and I love doing a spreadsheet. I got into spreadsheets because of work, and I'm like, this is so nice. It's organized, and I can do all this fun stuff. But so for me, I like to write things out. I have some kind of visual, but for like music, I usually will pick up a guitar because I'm a guitar player, and usually come up with like a chord progression. And then from there, I might take it and start doing some sheet music based on the chord progression. Then I can make a piano or something like that.
I like that. I commend you on that, having a process and being able to identify it. If I were to start
Well,
by asking myself, well, what you were saying? Well, what?
I said, well, I've talked about it a few times now.
Yeah. I mean,
Just because I'm like, I gotta talk about it, so I should probably figure out what I do.
I mean, I was making some. Oh, it's funny. Let me just check something. I was making some notes of my own, just like asking myself the questions that you might be asking me. What if I asked about my creative process? I think I do have a process. I think I identified it here. I do have a process of finding out first what needs to get done here. What's the end result? What do I have? What do I need? Who do I need to call? What do I need to communicate to that person that's coming to me for this, whether it be creative or like, to make them feel secure and safe in what we're about to do. I love to talk about some of my projects with people. It could be up to 20 people, 5 people, 10 people, like getting feedback, being open to being wrong, being open to hearing other ways to approach it, and like this small tinkering period, and then moving forward with the right people in place that, moving forward till the job's done, moving forward till adding anything else to it is just not going to help it. It's just going to make it messier or more complex, or it's not needed. The client's happy, we're happy, everybody's happy, everyone's done their best. My creativity could span from literally being creative in production with media, something visual, to being creative with real estate and relocation, where like I got to be resourceful. I have to be, you know, uh, attentive of certain things. They're just like, these are sensibilities I get from being a creative, even though I'm in the real estate world, like, especially in the real estate world, where like there's an aesthetic luxury. Things got to look right, be presented right. Photographs got to look nice. Knowing that this photographer just gave me these photos, and these photos look like crap. They need to be brightened. They need to be changed.
Right.
They need to be cropped. Like having that creative part of me be able to talk to that it feels great to be able to bring it into that. But that's some of my process. I would say is like extracting what's needed. What do I have? What do I need? Who I need to call? Tons of research. I think a lot of my clients, what they don't see is things, the hours and hours of research that I'm researching their competitor, or I'm researching what they mentioned casually on a phone call, who they're coming to visit or why they're coming to New York for, like researching all that and just getting to know a bit more about them and feel like what I'm about to give them is like, here's how it fits in with what they're doing or where they're trying to go or they're trying to achieve, and being happy with that. I learn by example. I learn from watching people around me. I learn from like asking questions. I learn from seeing end results of something and being like, I want it to look like that. I want to make what I'm doing look like this thing, or like be presented like that, or be seen like that, or be felt like that even, and work from there. And find people that either have experience way more than me to deliver that kind of thing, creative experience, service, whatever. And just like I spoke to photographers on set when I'm a model, speaking to that person again, saying, hey, this is something I want to present or arrive at. You could help me, or can we work together? And now I have teams of those people that I can go to that's already expected. That's unsaid.
So it sounds like you're just very good at puzzle solving. Like you solve puzzles.
I'll take that.
Like you see a problem or you see the end picture, and then you can start finding those pieces that fit together.
Totally. And some of those pieces some of those pieces aren't the prettiest pieces, but being able to create this environment where we can all discuss it and not feel like, this piece isn't going to look great, but let's offer it up. We could talk about it. Why doesn't it look great? All right, you're right. It doesn't look great. All right, throw that away. Like, and you're often having a conversation with people you just met or just came in contact with, or there's a lot of money on the line. Like, so for me, being able to have that, establish that environment, that there's no dumb questions here. There's no ideas that are off the table. Let's figure it out. Okay, no, that looks cheap. We can't do that table. We can't do that kind of whatever. That looks ugly. That looks good. I like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like you know what you want and you have figured out how to convey that. And I think that's the most important thing for a creator, especially one like you who is, putting together, multiple facets or multiple pieces. You're able to relay what you need. Because
Yes.
I'm sure we have all worked with people who aren't very good at that. And, that's when all the problems happen and people are stressed and angry or fired or whatever. But just from, the little bit that we've been talking, I'm like, you're really good at communicating what you need, figuring out who can do it and making those connections that you can then be like, all right, I have these people in my back pocket. So whenever this project comes up, I can be like, yo, I need you. Let's make this work. This is what we're doing. And, you know, as a creative, when people come to me like that, it's like, perfect, let's do it. I know exactly what you need. We're going to go do it.
Having confidence in that is great. One of the things I've kind of silently gotten off on over the years is friends or coworkers being like, of course, it's Ian. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course that happened. It's Ian. Oh, only Ian. Like getting that kind of response to things I've done or pulled off is feels good. It feels good because it's come at, it's been just. It's came at the right time. Yeah, I've had moments. This is probably my ego speaking now. I've had moments. Do you remember the movie Pulp Fiction? Is it Pulp Fiction or Reservoir? The Pulp Fiction when they call the wolf, like, oh, you're calling the wolf, and the wolf hops on the phone. I think it's Harvey Keitel, and somehow like comes up with a solution for something that they get rid of the dead body. That was Pulp Fiction. I've had moments like that where I felt like that moment where it's like someone's calling me in distress and Ian, we're on set and this happened, that happened, and the driver didn't show up and da da da. And I'm in Minnesota in the middle of, and I'll pull something out of my ass and be like, go outside. There's going to be a warehouse across the street. Go in there, knock on the door. There's a guy named Chad. He'll lend you his camera. Right? I just spoke to him 10 minutes ago. He'll lend you the lens that you just lost on set. He's going to lend you the lens, or he lives across town. He put it in an Uber. It's on the way. When it gets there, like treat it with care. Do me a favor on your way out of town. Drop Chad some cash and just like tell him thanks. I've literally had those situations happen, and a lot of it came from even with the golfer, like how I met you. I met you. I was probably living in Toronto then, and here you are in California shooting my client, guy I'm working with in California. I started to build this network of media people all over the U.S. because of him, because of his travels, and I couldn't get there anymore. I'm calling somebody, hey, I have this golfer. He's performing at a golf course in Tennessee this weekend. Being able to communicate. Here's what we need. We need some shots for a magazine. He'll be shooting at this college game, performing on me. I need you to shoot him, but you only have access to the sideline, whatever. And just like you and I did and stayed in touch, I stayed in touch with these guys too. Right now, I have this network of like media people all over the US, photographers, videographers, editors that have done projects like what you did for me. So imagine now if somebody else calls me from Fullerton this weekend. Hey, I'm on a shoot and I lost my lens. I'm able to call Chad, but Chad, like, do me a solid. Like, I'm working with this artist. His photographer just his camera didn't come in the on the flight, or his luggage got lost. They have a shoot tomorrow in Fullerton. Can you help me? No problem, Ian. Boom, 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 boom. That has happened to me a lot of times, connecting those dots, and I like that.
That's also a validation for what you've been doing, you know, for a good chunk of your life. Is like you've poured into enough people to where they can pour back into you. And, you know, I've been blessed to talk to a few people where, you know, we're more on the other side. We're no longer, you know, trying to climb. We're kind of at the peak and, you know, are looking down, and it's kind of like we have the luxury of kind of stepping back a little bit sometimes and being like, oh man, that time that person really helped me out, or, you know, how can I help someone? Or it's been fun to talk to all these creative people who are like, I just want to pay it forward now. Like, I still love what I'm doing, and it's kind of like, how can I help the next person? And it's cool. You know, this is kind of becoming more of a selfish project at this point, because I get to talk to cool people, and then I leave more inspired than, you know, when I show up, because, you know, I work a full-time job and have kids, and I'm tired all the time. So, and I stay up late to do this, you know, and it's like, it's almost like my recharge to be like, I can go into work tomorrow. Like, you know, I talked to someone cool. Now I'm inspired to go back to the grind, you know.
That's awesome. Kudos to you for even beginning these chats, recognizing you, like wanting to look into them and explore and discuss this stuff. Like kudos to you, and then have it fuel you like you just told me it fuels you. Good for you.
I mean, you know, I don't know if you've experienced this, but, you know, being a creative full time, what you got into as like kind of your fuel that gets you going, like photography, you know, was like very soul fulfilling for me. And then I started doing it for a career, and it's like, I'm blessed to be able to do what I do, but it no longer was like the soul fulfilling creative outlet that it used to be. So I started doing music, and then I'm like, let's do a podcast. It's still creative. It's still fun. It's something I haven't done before. I'm learning video editing now, which I haven't learned. So it's like, just keep learning, try new things. And I think that helps, going in and shooting 9 to 5, which is still a fun creative job. I love it, but I can't do that outside of work now, because it's just like, I did it for 8 hours or 10 hours. I'm done. Like, my wife gives me a hard time all the time about, why don't you shoot photos of our kids or family? I'm like, I don't want to pick up a camera.
Yeah, I feel for you.
But if you find those other things that fill you up, it's like you get to enjoy all of it now. It's like I still get to do something that means a lot to me, and then I can come home and do something that's fun and creative and new that just inspires me to create and go back and do the other thing I love to do.
What an ecosystem that is.
I'm just like everyone else. I go through like peaks and valleys and plateaus and stuff, but it's like, I believe we're created to be creative or contribute in some artistic way. Even if it's like business, an accountant is a very creative people too. We all have gifts and talents and skills. I think living a life of creation is using those things for something good, hopefully.
1,000%.
Does, but
yeah. You caught me on a second chapter, if you will. Those gifts you just spoke about. I'm coming off of a serious health scare I just survived, and that's why I'm out here in California, kind of recovering. And I had a major surgery out here a couple of weeks ago. It's slowed me down. It changed me spiritually, changed me physically, changed me mentally, and it kind of, now I'm getting over the hill of it. It has me kind of looking forward to figuring out those gifts that I have, fully exploiting them, purpose, applying my drive. I've always been a self-starter. So those gifts you talk about, like, yeah, I'm on a journey right now where I'm looking to explore mine and figure out what they are and why I have them. And so chats like this with you, which I'm very grateful for, kind of helps me tease out some of it to see, to kind of pull back from these things I've done and look at them like, with those gifts. Did I want to do them? Are they frustrating? Do I like them? Do I still want to do them? What do I want to throw away? What do I want to keep? That's where I'm at right now. So,
I would rather you not have to go through a health scare for that, but it's sometimes you need something to kind of stop you, and you have those self-reflections and everything. My mom had cancer last year and she came out of it, and I think that was, it was almost like a solid year of self-reflection of like, I may not have a mom here in a couple months. Thankfully, we saw so many answered prayers. Like, we would do specific prayers and every one of them was answered. And, that has helped me spiritually go like, okay, this is legit. This is real. I'm literally seeing it play out. And, then it's kind of like, okay, how do I take this reawakening and use it, for what I do? I'm in contact with people. How can I, love on these people who don't necessarily think what I think or believe what I believe? So it's like this weird, it's been a good year of self-reflection and growth and reevaluating kind of like what is important. And, family is very important. So I try and stay home more and be involved,
Good for you, man.
Yeah, it's been like my wife too has just jumped in. She's like a prayer warrior now, because writing journals and just because we're seeing it, we're seeing the things happen, and you just can't deny it,
Man.
So it's crazy.
Did you grow up in a prayer church forward home or spiritually forward home?
Yeah, I grew up going to church. I'm kind of more like my dad, where our faith came a lot more from logic. Like, it just seems logical to us. He wasn't overly spiritual, but I would see my mom, get up early, pray, read her Bible, and do all that. So I had kind of the mix. But me, I was kind of fell in more with my dad on just like, it seems logical to me, so it makes sense. Where, I was never the person kneeling, singing, and, doing all that kind of stuff. I was just, bob my head and do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think doing the hardcore stuff, you were able to see these people express their faith in ways that related to me. So I was able to then kind of go, this is what I believe. And then I can write music like that I love and still be worshipful. And so that was a very good outlet for me. And I think it kind of helped, my spiritual side. And then my wife went to Bible college here in San Dimas, and we met because of that. So, I married basically someone who studied to be a pastor. So just kind of, I'm not getting out of anything at that point.
Look at that.
So, she's, working on me to become, a little more of the spiritual leader of the house, but I still have a lot of my father in me. It's just like, I believe it because of this, but, like I was saying, seeing specific prayers answered like multiple times is just, yeah, you can't deny that. Yeah, we went and prayed for some friends that we met at my wife made friends with the wife from school through the kids and stuff. Her husband has the same cancer my mom has or had. And so we went and she's like, we're going to pray for him and all this stuff. I'm just like, I don't want to go. I went and they're like, everything worked out to where I made it in time.
Nice.
And like, there was another couple praying for him, and they all prayed, and then my wife prayed, and they basically were like, okay, we're gonna be done. I was like, I can't be the only person who doesn't say anything, so I'm like, oh, I'll pray. And right then I just started bawling.
Yes, you did.
But it was just like, my wife says, like, you just need to talk about it more. You need to tell people what they did in your mom. It's like,
how moving was that? How moving was that?
Oh my goodness. I made everyone cry. It was ridiculous. But it was like all tears of joy and just like, I was able to tell these people who just starting this journey that my mom went through, like, trust Jesus. Like, he answered so many prayers for us, and we came out and my mom was healed. Like, this stuff is real. Like, it may not be the answer you want all the time, but ask. Just ask. That's all he says to do.
Man, I could talk to you all night about this. And before I even tell you more how much I want to talk about it, I have to tell myself, it's getting late here. My wife came home. Yeah. She wants to get in here and do some things. I'm so glad we met. Thank you for sharing everything you did. And I'm so glad we had this chat. I'm Ian Peters. You're watching A Life of Creation.